Hi everyone, Ray Moran here with the V20 today, which we're very excited to mention is going to be in Cape Town, South Africa this coming September. And even more excited to spend some time with my good friend Ben Elder, the Global Director of Valuation for RICS. Ben, we've had some terrific V20s in India and Brazil, and this year heading to South Africa. What gets you most excited about journeying to Cape Town this September?
It's looking forward to it enormously, Ray, and great to have the opportunity to have a conversation again. Obviously, Cape Town's a fantastic place, great people, but I think what's really fascinating is the variety of challenges that part of the world faces, and how that impacts on the way that real estate businesses are operated, and the data and the information which is available to valuers in that challenging environment. They range from sophisticated urban areas to then very poor areas, and obviously have the challenges around perhaps some of the land being unregistered, and so a real melting pot of different challenges, and the valuers are there trying to make sense of how the economy works and how best to provide information to decision makers.
All very, very true. I don't know, Ben, that our audience will necessarily understand how the V20 happens in the sense of having both the conference and the summit. Can you explain the sort of things that our speakers will talk about in the conference portion of the V20?
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. And again, it's quite exciting because I always learn so much from these conferences and from talking, not just the presentations, but the conversations which go round the edge of the conferences and the cups of coffee afterwards, etc. But as with all conferences at the moment, the challenges which face the valuation profession and other professions. So AI technology, how that's going to impact the work of valuers, how technology is perhaps perceived by some clients as being the answer rather than using valuers, and making sure that the message is really clear about how that technology can support valuation issues, but how important it is to have the input of a person at various stages to verify the information which is coming out of some of the AI models, and so I see that as being a really key part of the conversation. I also see the ESG challenges, and I think I've said to you before, Ray, that I just wish people would put a full stop after the E, after the S, and after the G, because they're completely different measures, and yet they seem to get bundled into one. Give us a number for ESG, and again, that debate about how the valuers can contribute, particularly to the regulatory requirements now around ESG, and the reality around some of the challenges like the IFRS reporting requirements, which operate at an entity level, which you're very much into in the business valuation world, whereas from a real estate valuation point of view, we tend to look at the individual asset and how those two regulatory requirements can be squared or circled, as the case may be. So I'm expecting those types of conversations and presentations. And we're also engaging, as you know, with the regulators and the Ministry of Finance in South Africa. So being able to bring this message about objectivity and transparency in valuation, and this unique position that valuers hold as being independent. Most other people involved in transactions are actually acting for one party or the other in an adversarial role, whereas actually valuers have this very special place in the transaction process to be objective and independent in the information that they provide. So again, I guess there's some real great conversations around those areas, Ray.
Absolutely. You mentioned regulators, Ben, and that's a terrific lead in to the discussion about the summit, what happens when the valuation organizations and the regulators get together on behalf of the V20 movement. Can you describe what happens there and what the deliverables are that come out of them?
Yeah. Sure, absolutely. Again, the conference is great and a really important element. But I personally think the summit is really the pinnacle of this process, where it brings together the representatives from the G20 countries plus friends. So it's more than just the G20 to recommit to the ideals of the V20 in promoting the international valuation standards to be used in all valuations relating to G20 decisions. A really lofty, admirable objective, but quite hard to reach. And by bringing the representatives together again at the summit and reconfirming their commitment allows the passing of the baton from India originally through to Brazil, now on to South Africa, and then hopefully to your home nation the following year. So, but it's that commitment from the valuation fraternity, from the valuation profession across all asset classes to recommit to making valuation this important milestone in all decisions made by the G20.
And leading to that, Ben, I've always thought one of the more fun things we do is actually speaking with students when we get a chance. And I know we're working toward sessions once again in Cape Town where we can have that opportunity. And your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, it's great fun. I remember the ones in India, which were really quite eye-opening, and getting the next generation of valuers to think about how they're going to contribute to the profession. And excuse me, but my grey hair, and some of the ideas and the thoughts that they can bring to what is happening is really invigorating, and it allows me and everybody else to open their minds to the way the next generation are starting to think. And that's really important. It's not just the valuation. These are the people who are shaping the economy of the future. And our job as valuers is to interpret that economy. If we can't understand it and we can't engage with those generations, then the decisions that we make are not going to be as good, I'll put it that way, as if we do engage with them and just think about how they see the world and the important things that they want to happen in the political and economic space. And as you recall, there were some really great papers that we've seen over the last couple of years.
And I'm looking forward to the papers and the interaction with the students once again. So much fun. Ben, final thoughts for the audience before we ring off on this interview?
Yeah, I think we've come an enormous long way in this process. I started in India and went through Brazil last year, which was a great success. And the camaraderie, the recognition about how important this project is growing, and you can feel the momentum behind the process now, and people like your good self give enormous amounts of time freely to this project, and that feeling of belonging to this community who are trying to move this really important project to a conclusion is great, and I would encourage everybody to take part and learn about it and ask questions. Please reach out to any of us if you'd like some more information, and hopefully we look forward to seeing many of you in South Africa later this year.
I totally agree. We'll have links to the website and the organization as part of this, but very much looking forward to it. The SAIV and the local organizing committees have done tremendous work to date in pulling this together, so very excited. Ben, thank you. Really appreciate your giving us some time, and hope to see you again soon.
And you, Ray. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.